Well, he seems to have been chronically underestimated. And even, as I said before, someone who doesn't pay a great deal of attention to soccer. As him being an Aussie, I've paid some attention to him. And he seems to have been underestimated his whole career. But you give him time and he can deliver, but they're still having discussions about whether or not he's likely to stay on as manager or not. I mean, what more could you possibly do?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this was such an important moment in his career. And he's delivered the goods, Caleb. So, he's not out of the woods yet because they are 17th on the English Premier League ladder. They've got their last game here on Sunday against Brighton. And there's still questions on whether he can maintain his role at the club because they've had such a disastrous English Premier League season. So while he's had this victory, he's not completely out of the woods. But he was very combative with the media this week. One journalist in one of the papers here basically wrote that he was a clown if he didn't come home with the goods. He's proved them wrong, Caleb. So this is a massive moment for Ange Postecoglou, who, as we know, moved to Australia at age 5. Incredible career, and at 59 to win this trophy is a magnificent result.
Yep, and to borrow some lingo from another sport, he's got the runs on the board, so you can't argue with that. Now, let's talk some other UK news. This is very similar to what's happening with energy rebates here in Australia, but Sir Keir Starmer has reversed his decision to cut millions of pensioners off of the winter fuel payments. What exactly are these winter fuel payments, and why didn't he want to give them to pensioners?
So, Caleb, they're basically, credits of up to £300 to pensioners to basically help them cope with the rising cost of electricity over here. And the government's been toing and froing about this. They said it was going to be means tested. But then we had the UK council elections, which was an absolute horror show for the Conservative Party and the Labor government, with Reform really coming out on top in those council elections. And many said that the scaling back of this winter subsidy payment was the reasoning that people turned away from Labor. So we don't know what the actual U-turn exactly is, but this has been very bad for Keir Starmer, and he's had to really turn around and change this because the means testing was met with a lot of disgust from many politicians, including those within his own party, and many pensioners who thought they were eligible that were suddenly not eligible.
Just quickly, Sophie, while we're talking about benefits, a leaked memo showed that the UK Deputy PM Angela Rayner wanted to crack down on immigration and the benefits that immigrants are receiving from the UK government. I mean, it goes to show, after, of course, what we saw from Sir Keir last week, the Labor Party is really spooked by reform at the moment.
Oh, absolutely, Caleb. They are absolutely spooked. As I've said many times on Sky, Reform UK leader Nigel Farage has all the momentum, and migration is a hot issue. We do have new figures out today of net migration, which showed it has halved in the last year. So that is one positive for the Labor government, but still a very long way to go on this, Caleb, and a hot issue that keeps making headlines here in the UK day in, day out.
Indeed. Sophie Elsworth, thank you so much for your time. Now, how Australian is this? A bloke finishing up in the WA Parliament yesterday gave his valedictory speech, and then he did this. He did a shoey. We've got the photo here for you, right? You pour a drink in the shoe and drink it out of the shoe, and he did that on the floor of Parliament in Western Australia. I mean, he looks like a proper Aussie bloke too.